Hey guys, welcome to the show. Keith Reza, subscribe, rate, and review to the show. Reza Riffs on Apple Podcasts, subscribe, rate, and review. We do have a sponsor today on today's episode with Vicki Barbolak. Here it goes. Amy Brick, who sponsored the show before, but you know her from Amy Brick with Brick and Company Real Estate, is a real estate broker who is honest, fair, and most importantly, will get your home sold in 8 days with multiple offers. If you're thinking about selling, give her a call at area code 562-335-5269 or check out her website at amybrick.com. With over 20 years of experience, she could help you make the right move in Southern California. Her real estate booker ID is DRE01358-129. You could also check it out at amybrick.com. All right, guys. I will repeat that for the folks just now turning in. We do have a sponsor. The great Amy Brick with Brick and Company Real Estate is a real estate broker who is honest, fair, and most importantly, will get your home sold in 8 days with multiple offers. If you're thinking about selling, give her a call at area code 562-335-5269 or check her out at her website, amybrick.com. With over 20 years of experience, she could help you make the right move in Southern California. Her license number is DRE01358-129, amybrick.com. Now enjoy the show of Reza Riffs with Vicki Barbolak.
You're listening to Reza Riffs with Keith Reza and Alan Lee, right here on LA Talk Radio.
Apologize.
Hey guys, welcome to the show. Subscribe, rate, review on Apple Podcasts. I'm Keith Reza with my Nightwing to my Robin, Victor Pachecho. How are you, Victor?
I'm doing great, Keith. Thanks for having me back, man. I super appreciate it. I love being here every time that I'm here and every opportunity you give me, man. It's like really awesome to be here. And thanks for helping me.
You should tell the folks at home how to spell your last name so we could fix this IMDb gibberish.
Yeah, let's fix it right now. It's actually Pachecho, P as in Paul, A as in Apple, C as in corporate, H as in hexagon, E as in economy, C as in company, and O as in organic. Pachecho. I'm so happy, Keith. I want to thank you for getting me my first IMDb credit from the heart, man. That's like, I could tell you a billion fucking times and it will be from the heart. I'm like, I didn't know I could get an IMDb credit for fucking having a great time with my friend. That's awesome. That's great.
Let's talk about that later because our guest is in the waiting room and we have a sponsor we have to plug first.
Okay.
So thank you for listening to Raise the Risk with Vicki Barbolak. Our sponsor today is Amy Brick. Amy Brick with Brick and Company Real Estate is a real estate broker who is honest, fair, and most importantly, will get your home sold in 8 days with multiple offers. Victor, if you're thinking about selling, give her a call at area code 562-335-5269 or check out her website at amybrick.com. With over 20 years of experience, she can help you make the right move in Southern California. Hey, Victor, you're probably asking me, what's her ID? Her ID is this. Capital D, capital R, capital E, 01358-129, amybrick.com. Are you guys ready to start rifting with Vicki Barbolak?
Woo!
All right, we're letting her in. Hey, Vicki. Are you there?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Vicki, how are you?
I just kept saying the host will join you. So
we had to give a shout out to the sponsors. I like to do that
good.
Before the guest because I'm so intrigued by the guests, I forget the sponsors.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
You're very smart.
Always forget the sponsors, right? That's the most important thing.
That is the most important thing. Who are the sponsors of the show today, Keith?
Oh, I will tell you. Amy Brick with Brick Real Estate. She's a real estate broker who is honest, fair, and most importantly, will get your home sold in 8 days with multiple offers. Vicki, if you're thinking about selling, give her a call at area code 562-335-5269 or check out her
part of the
website.
country? What part of the country is she in?
Oh, she's in California.
And does she work in the trailer park industry, or is she just the high level homes?
I think she works in both. We could call her
All
and
right.
ask her.
All right, because our
Yeah.
trailers, I hear my trailer is worth pretty penny right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
You could also check out her website at amybrick.com. With over 20 years of experience, she could help you make the right move in Southern California. And her ID is DRE01358-129.
Listen, her name is Amy Brick, so she could be, I'm a brick, house seller. I'm a brick.
Yeah.
I'm a brick, house seller. I know that's what her jam must be.
That's her theme song.
Yeah. Now she could be like, I'm an aluminum house seller. Get it? Because I have a trailer. Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
She did want me to tell you that you and her had a friend named Ava, and she said thank you for being a good friend to
Oh,
her.
she was a friend of my darling Ava's. Oh,
Yeah.
I miss her so.
So she wanted me to tell you that.
Awesome. Oh, Ava.
So Vicki, thank you for riffing with us. This is the trusty sidekick to my Batman, Victor Pachecho.
Hey, Victor.
Hey, how you doing, Vicky?
Good.
Awesome.
Victor told me he saw you at the Comedy Store in La Jolla, and the show was terrible, and then you came in and you made it great.
Well, it's unbelievable. I don't believe it. I'm sure the show was already great. It's just, sometimes when I just go in there and, without my clothes on, that's what I do.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
That's how you get it, huh?
That was in late July of 2017, and
Oh my God.
I went back and I looked, and it was not a terrible show. I did not say it was a terrible show.
Well, yeah,
that
I
was
know.
misrepresented.
I
That was
gotcha.
It was. I said it was one of those shows with one of those tough crowds. They weren't really giving the comics. They were leaving everyone hanging, and that wasn't anyone's fault but the comedian's fault. And so they were already tired before the show started. And when you got there, I was like, oh, she's gonna kill it. I know she's gonna kill it. Like, I'd never seen you before, but I was like, she's gonna kill it. And I was like, I didn't know you, all due respect, and I was watching magic.
Oh, that's so
because
nice. That's my home club. That's why I started in that room.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. No,
Yeah.
you were. Oh, it was so great. It was like, and then yeah, it was really really a great experience to watch you perform like that. And I was like, wow. So I'm not all like, hey, do you remember me? No. You were already there when there was like 3 comics already up, probably doing like another show. And
You look so familiar. Like I've seen you, because we see each other on Zoom. You look like I've seen you around the store in Hollywood, haven't I?
I've gone there a few times. Yeah, I haven't been there recently because
Okay.
Parking's been hard and my Prius is out of commission at the moment. So that's complicated. I mean, I should probably take a bus there. That would be the best parking situation.
Yeah, especially
for
now
me.
that Pink Dot's closed. The first time they're making a building there, but the Dot's opened, but the $10 parking lot. The first time when I was made a paid regular, I go to Hollywood, and I always used to park up the hill or at the Dot. And I decided to celebrate my first night as a paid regular and paid for the parking at the Hyatt. And I walk into the parking lot. I said, Bobby Lee was standing there. I go, Bobby, I'm celebrating. It's my first night as a paid regular. I paid to park at the Hyatt. He goes, what? Why'd you do that? I go, because I'm celebrating. He goes, this is our parking lot. We have our own parking lot when you're a paid regular. And I was like, holy shit. And I just ran over to the Hyatt. I'm like, can I have my money back? I'm a paid regular. The guy goes, no.
Well, he probably already parked your car.
Well, I don't know. I just left. But that's all right.
When did you become a paid regular at the world famous Comedy Store?
People always know that date, and they know exactly when that happened, and they know the night they became a regular. I can't remember any of it. I don't know anything. Like, I'm terrible with dates, but I think it was roughly around let's see. I think it was roughly around 2002.
Wow. That's awesome, because that's before America's Got Talent. So you were already established as a paid regular at the world famous Comedy Store.
Yeah. I've been doing stand-up, I think about 3 years, and Mitzi came down to La Jolla one night and saw me standing at the bar. I never got on Sunday because the manager didn't like me and I was terrible. But I'd been working really hard, but he didn't know it. But I'd still come every Sunday with baked goods. And Mitzi walked in to showcase, and I didn't know who she was or what a showcase was or what a paid regular was.
Yeah.
And she just goes, put her on. And then I went on and I had a good set because I'd been working so hard at all these bars for years. And even though Fred wouldn't let me on in the open mics, and then she made me a paid regular that night, and I didn't know what that was. And it's funny because again, Bobby Lee was in the lobby because he also came out of San Diego, and he was in the lobby. And I go, Bobby, what's a? Mitzi just said I'm a paid regular. He goes, what's that? I go, what's that? He goes, oh man, you're so late. And he goes, well, that's great news. You can go to Hollywood. It's huge. And that's just so funny to me that I had no idea.
Well, I wanted to ask you that because I started comedy in 2005, 2006, and I never could become a paid regular at the store. I mean, there was Tommy, and then when Tommy left, I thought my chances would increase with Adam because I toured with Norm, so I had that connection with Adam, but it didn't really help me at all. In fact, I haven't performed at the store since Tommy. So I wanted to ask your advice on how to get past those no's and make them a yes.
I would just keep requesting showcases, because so many people, you hear stories, I don't know how many times Howie had to go up in front of Mitzi, many times. And so there's all those stories of that. I get it though. I mean, sometimes you feel like, oh, what's the point? But the bottom, what do they have to lose? So I think you should just keep trying as much as possible whenever you can. Try to get on, to get on the showcase night. Just keep asking.
Have you ever married anyone at the Comedy Store?
Just myself. Just Lou and I got married there.
Oh, but did you marry someone else?
I've never married anyone else there. No, I didn't.
I love Lou. He made me cry before the showcase because he's playing What a Wonderful World, and I just got so emotional that I had to go. I was in the back having a blunt, and I told him, I was like, dude, you really made my night even before the show started, and you made me feel so welcome because I was so nervous. And it's the La Jolla Comedy Store, and I wanted to make a good impression. And Lou was just such a sweetheart of a gentleman of a guy, and I had really good bud. And it was
he's gonna take good care of you.
He was the nicest guy, and it wasn't even about the weed. It was just okay, it was just one of those things. But he was such a good guy, and I like him a lot. So knowing that, hey, that's your husband right there. That's a good man right there.
He can see a good heart. He's a really good guy. Yeah, he does taxes during tax season. So he's doing taxes today. He has a little tax business, and so he works really hard for tax season, and doesn't get high during the day. He's just Mr. Businessman. Dude. Yeah, he's a great guy.
Does he ever get bribes to lie on people's taxes? Hey, I'll give you $100.
Don't answer that question, Vicki.
No, I can't. So there's been several people incarcerated because of Lou's fancy tax work, but we have to visit prisons on a regular basis and take care of children that are left behind. No, he always says to people, hey man, I'll write anything you want. I'll write down anything you want. But if you don't have a backup, you're on your own at the meeting with the fellas in the suits. I mean, I hear him telling people that all the time.
Meeting in the fellas with the suits.
Yeah.
Vicki, so how has comedy changed for you since America's Got Talent? Because I always thought you were a headliner, but then when you got on that, you became a national headliner where everybody knows you.
Yeah, it was because I never had any luck I didn't try really hard to get a manager or agent, but whenever I did ask people, they always said no. And so I just thought, okay, that's not going to happen for me. And I'm just going to just keep doing stand-up. And I just kept hoping something would happen and I'd get to keep doing it. And I didn't know what it would be. And then when America's Got Talent came along, I couldn't believe that they would let me on it. And then the way I could see from the very first show what happens to you. Like, I had like 24 followers, and then you have 280,000 followers, and then 200,000 followers. It's just like, it's like incredible how instantly that show has such a big reach. It changes it. Like, the industry wouldn't listen to me, but the people did. So it's like a way around the industry. So it was really lucky. And because I've been doing it so long and had, and doing it consistently, I mean, I did have a lot of material. And so when I got off the show and I was jumping into the tour, I mean, I was ready for the hour. It took me a little while to get completely ready again, because when you're on America's Got Talent, you do that 2 minutes for a year and you never can do anything else.
Yeah.
So, but basically it just completely, it made all my hopes and dreams come true, because I just kept hoping for some reason I would get to do stand-up comedy in my 60s, and that's what's happening. So I'm so grateful.
It's amazing how like that show now is like the new late night, like it used to be like if you got on a late night set, your career would change. And now it's like, hey, we don't care about the late night sets. We got to get on America's Got Talent.
It's so bizarre, and I never even watched it. I didn't know any of its power. I never had cable, so I didn't have it. I never watched it. I didn't know. And it's true. I mean, I recommend it to anybody. If anybody, I didn't even know I had a tragic story till I got on. I never knew I was tragic.
Oh my God. Damn.
I don't think it's a tragic story. I think it's just a story that,
I mean, like, you're like, oh, you're so old, and you're like, and you've been working so long, and I kept going, listen, I didn't want to say this, but I mean, I sold carpet for 20 years at my parents' carpet store before I started stand-up. I mean, that was tragedy. The last 20 years of, what they show as struggle for me in stand-up, just because I was poor and lived in a trailer with my kids, we were always so happy. So it was like, it was always funny though to me to think about how they go, oh, Vicki, you're so sad. And, I'm like, yeah, I'm really sad.
Well, see, I think that's remarkable though, because like you're doing your dream of comedy that you've always done, even during the bad times. Like that's my dream. And, life's bad right now, but like I'm still with comedy, you know what I mean? I don't want to give up. So I think that's very inspiring.
Right. You just, it's, I think if you want to do comedy, that's just a bad luck. That's just a curse that happened to you.
Yeah.
It's like, I always wish I would rather I wanted to be a podiatrist. God, if I would have just wanted to be a podiatrist, but I can't do math, and I can't do it. I could never have been a podiatrist, but if that would have been my passion, I'm like, why, God, couldn't I have been something like that? But if you want to be a comic, you just are, you're just kind of screwed because it's very difficult journey. But on the other hand, it doesn't matter, because the other option is you're really happy because you get to do something you love. And then as long as you're able to say, if it ends up that I'm just pushing a shopping cart, will that be okay? And literally when I first started and told my parents to sell their carpet store, and I thought, I'm going to put my daughters into complete and abject poverty in 5 minutes. I just thought to myself, well, if we become beggars, is that okay? I literally got there in my head. Okay, if we could become beggars, as long as I was willing to do that, we can go ahead. And we never did have to beg, but people did drop off food occasionally. So there's a lot of times when I thought, oh, this was a really bad move. But on the other hand, we kept going and we kept having a great time.
And you're also jumping into the podcasting world. You were telling me you're about to release a podcast. What's that experience like for you?
Today is the big day. It's called Trailer Park Diaries. And I have to thank Al Madrigal at All Things Comedy, because he really came up with concept. I had found some diaries and we wanted Trailer Park, and he came up with the name Trailer Park Diaries. And it took forever to get it done. It was like COVID, but my best friend Sean Pulaski and I had a really good time doing it. We spent about a year getting these 12 episodes done, and then they spent about another year like, kind of editing them because they're busy and we're just a couple of broads, but they. Sorry, George. We got a lot of George Lopez editing to do this week. Oh, no problem. Just put us on the back. But and George Lopez is awesome and his show is great. But it finally got out today and we're very excited. It was funny though. We recorded a year ago, and then on the first episode, we kind of make fun of Ukrainian women. It's happening today, and there's nothing we can do.
Was that on the first episode?
Yeah, it's today. We can.
Oh my God.
I was gonna say you'll have to call Al and say you need to edit this quick.
They can't. We already called.
It's done. Done deal.
You go, oh shit! It was just a little thing. Shanika goes, we're wondering what this girl. It's this diary we found, and her mom's putting a box away, and like, what's in the box? And Shanika goes, probably some Ukrainian passports. And I think I said, oh, you've been watching too much 90 Day Fiance.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
We look so insensitive today.
Right.
I'm Ukrainian, by the way. I am. My dad's first generation born here. I mean, I couldn't be more Ukrainian. It's a fucking nightmare.
Yeah. Well, at least you might hit the #1 charts, right?
We're canceled on our first day. Sonika and I are like both throwing up this morning when we're playing it. We're like barfing and our stomachs are like this. We go, what do we do? I'm like, there's nothing you could do.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Now, Vicki, what's your favorite spot to do on the road now that, you're doing the 5 shows compared to just the one-nighters?
Oh, I don't know. I used to hate Saturday night first show because it always seemed so easy and it made me angry. And then I realized you're an idiot, Vicki. That's why you've been working so hard. So you get an easy spot, you stupid. So then I started really liking the Saturday night first shows, because it is fun. I had a really bad attitude about it, but I kind of like them all. I still like the late night Fridays when people are tired because you could get really wild and just to get them awake. And I feel like that's the most challenging. And I know it's the one that people hate the most a lot, but I kind of, in general, sort of still cherish it the most, that spot. Hate Sunday night. Ugh. Yeah,
Sundays are terrible because you never know if the club should just do the comedy show or should go to an open mic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and sometimes you're right. And sometimes you have a great time on Sunday. I'm not saying you don't. Sometimes you do. And those are such miracles. But a lot of times it's just, oh, shoot. They just threw it, But you have to do what you have to do.
Yeah. Victor, you got a question for Vicki?
Yeah. I actually have a couple of questions. What advice can you give to comedians to have a successful television or comedy club audition?
I'd like to give me that advice if I had it.
but you killed on TV. You were like really like I met you at I didn't even meet you at the Comedy Store La Jolla, but like I saw you, so I knew who you were. But like I didn't know you, but I felt like I knew you after watching you on America's Got Talent. So it was just like, oh yeah, she's like to me, you're like, oh, she seems like one of my crazy tias. Even though you're not Mexican.
I know people always think I'm Mexican. Like a van full of kids pulled up to drop off my daughter one day. And I was standing outside with my other daughter when we lived in a house, not the trailer a long time ago. And the girl goes, oh, she sees me standing there and she goes, oh, Emily, I didn't know you were Mexican. But which I think is a compliment. But the thing is, I guess what I would say is the thing that when it's probably preparation, because when I did do well ever in my life, which was AGT, because it was just hours and hours and hours and hours and countless nights doing those 2 minutes over and over again and bombing on them every time because they never hit well, because you'd go into a club and people would be doing 15, 20 minutes of just riffing and you'd go up with you. And I just know I'm only doing my 2 because I just didn't want to give myself any break. So I would just do the 2. And by the time nobody would laugh. And but I just kept doing it. So I guess that the answer is preparation, because in the times that I've not done well at really important clinch things, really big things that I've screwed up, it was a lack of preparation. So preparation, probably just preparation. It's disciplining yourself to really know what you're going to do. And once you really know what you can do, then you can let it go.
What about confidence, though? Because it seems like you have a great confidence, in your comedy.
I think that just comes with like time and work. And I'm still like everybody else. I think all of us most of us feel like some little part of it that we don't deserve any of it. And they're going to find out about us that we're not really good. So I think that's in the back of most artists' heads. And so once you just kind of go, okay, that might be there, but you know what? That doesn't get to win today. What has to win today is like Steve Martin said in his book,
Born Standing Up.
Born Standing Up. He said his plan was to get so funny that people couldn't ignore him. And that was my only plan too. And then I thought, well, maybe he was wrong about that one. People kept ignoring me, but anyway, I think that at some point, and he also said that the comedy is an agreement between you and the audience that you're funny. And so once you stand there in that knowing that you're funny, like the other night I had to follow Mark Maron, and he was just doing a bunch of theater tours, and I just heard him interview Keith Richards, and then I have to follow him at the store the other night in the main room, and he was just murdering, and I'm sitting there going, now am I gonna, just shit myself here? Am I just gonna, and I'm like, no, you know what? The radio turns off, he's gone, and I'm up there, and it's my turn, and it went great until the very end when I exited the stage and managed to get the cord of the microphone wrapped into my big drag queen boot and knocked the mic over as I brought up the dispenser. But other than that, it was great.
So you made it hard for Bobby Lee to follow you.
God.
Literally. That's still a great performance, by the way.
Yeah.
If that happens, it's just maybe not the best tape, but still great performance.
God. I'm still cringing of that, because like Chris Spencer's my hero and fucking Mark Maron, and then I'm knocking the fucking mic down with it. Literally looped the cord of the mic into my boot, and then I'm walked up 2 steps, still dragging it, not knowing it. And Chris Spencer goes, "Come back here." I go, "What?" And he goes, and then right when he said that, the thing went down. And
at least the boots were still getting laughs, right?
Yeah. Oh God, I don't know. We do a difficult task. I mean, we're not surgeons or something, but it's not easy.
It's not. No, it's very, very tough.
Yeah, it's fun though.
I wanted to ask you, like, how did your work change a lot with America's Got Talent? I'm sure compared to where you're struggling to find work. Like, is it easier for you now?
Yeah, because I got agents, and stuff, and they book me, and and people want to see me, and they still do. And even though I was on it like almost 5 years ago, so it's still it's great. So, and I get like more, like some crazy bookings that I'm so grateful for. Yeah, so it's it's still a lot of things I get turned down for, no problem with that. But I get, it's still, I think there's still some like hesitant reluctance to book me just because I'm older. I'm 64 now, and they go, "Oh wow," I just think there's some hesitation, but not that much. So I'm really grateful for all the work that does come in, and like I've got some great things coming this summer, and and we all were down for a while, but I worked really hard with an editor, and we worked for 1.5 years on my book, and we just are finishing that, so I'm happy about that.
How long did it take you to write a book? Because I'm writing a book and I'm only on chapter 1, and I've been doing it for like 10 years.
I was exactly that way.
Right.
I was working about 8 years, and every time I'd get something done, I think, oh, this is shit. And I throw it away. Start again. And then Julie Kidd, my friend, who's
funniest housewife.
Yeah, exactly. She's a good friend of mine, and she's written like 6 books, and her mother was a writer. So she agreed to be my co-writer we started about 18 months ago, and we wrote every day, Monday through Friday, from 11 to 1. And then I also wrote ahead of those meetings. And then we'd write like one weekend day. And it was like, she was a great taskmaster. And so it took about 18 months. And right now it's a part where we're sending out to different people to read, and then we're going through it again. So like we met today, we meet again tomorrow. It's like I don't know how Chelsea Handler, every time she belches, she writes another book. I don't get it.
Yeah. I asked her to do this podcast, and she said she can't because she's writing a book.
Hilarious.
Yeah. I was like, you can't take a half-hour break?
Guess not.
I'm excited that she's writing her 89th book. Way to go, Chelsea.
Victor, you got any more questions for Vicki?
Yeah, actually I do. I have a question. So when Mitzi Shore noticed you at the Comedy Store, what kind of things would she tell you to for you to develop into the hilarious comedian that you are today?
Well, I was really lucky because she really did take me under her wing. So she saw me that first time in La Jolla. Then I came to Hollywood about 2 weeks later to do the OR. And I just was like, I had never spent any time in the OR. I didn't know what the OR is, which is it's a beast of its own with its magical powers. And I just got really washed out. And then I went over to her after my set, and she just shook her hands. She just shook her hands at me up and down. Like, it was before she had like Parkinson's thing going on. But so she just like was going, she just looked at me and she goes, go back to La Jolla, keep working. And she just basically told me, build it up, get bigger, and come back. So then I went back home, and I thought, oh my God, I really blew it. But now I got to work in La Jolla whenever I wanted, because they had to put me on because I was a regular. So I got to work out there a lot. And then I think about 6 months later, I called Hollywood, and she said, why did you take so long to call? Like, I didn't know. And then she had me over to her house for lunch, and she had me on at the main room that night at 9:00 to open it. No, she had me back on in the OR at like 9:30, third up. And I had a really good set. And then from then on, she would put me in the main room every night at 9:00 to open it, to make me struggle. And then about every 3 months, she'd put me at the third or fourth spot. And then she'd go, I just wanted you to know where you really are. And then the next week I'd be back to 9:00. And that was like 4 years. Yeah. But she just kind of, you just kind of knew that her hand was on you, and and then when I kind of started to grow really stronger, she was really happy. And when True Hollywood Stories came to the store, she wanted me and Chris Rock to be the featured comics, and I was so happy. But she was really, amazing. She's still with me.
You also took a comedy class from her daughter. Like, so would you say like that helped you get in the two?
Yeah, I would never have thought of doing stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
And I was in the bathroom one day, and there's this thing sticking out of the trash can. It said comedy class. I pulled it out, and it was the picture of, it was like the Comedy Store logo and everything. And it said Pauly Shore's sister. I didn't know I think it might have said Mitzi's daughter, but I don't think it even said that. She said Pauly Shore's sister, Sandy Shore, teaches stand-up. And I'm like, oh, and I just had this feeling I should do this. And because I always loved making people laugh. It was the only thing that ever mattered to me. But so I took the class, and when I walked in, I brought 3 big books so people would think I was smart. Like, I didn't even know what the books were. And I sat down by myself, but then I met these guys there, 4 guys that are still my friends. And Sandy had just been abducted by aliens and made an alien dictionary. So in case you were ever abducted, you could know how to talk to them. And so I really knew I was in the right place. And, and she was a real character. But she was really good to me. And she goes, I think you have a special talent. And nobody ever said anything to me like that. And so I will always be grateful to her. And she passed away, and she passed away like not speaking to me. And I'll never, I'm so sad about that. But one night I used to work her graduation classes after, I was doing comedy a long time, and I would come host her graduation classes. And one day my daughter, Emily, was going to have a baby in 29 Palms. And I called Sandy. I said, I can't host your class tonight because I got to go take care of the kids because Emily's going to have a baby. And she goes, well, if you go do that, I'll never speak to you again.
Wow.
I go, well, okay. But then I always thought we'd make up, or I'd call her, and then I didn't. And then she died suddenly, and I was devastated. And I was at her funeral, and this girl we both know, she knows her really well. She said that Sandy watched me all the time on AGT and was really proud of me, and that made me really happy. But it just kind of taught me, like, if you ever have a friend who you're on the outs with, if you care about them, you better try to fix it.
Yeah.
At least make an attempt.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I was actually just telling Victor this because I did his podcast earlier, because I toured with Norm for 8 years, and I was telling him, like, it wasn't all just fabulous friendship. Like, we had a lot of fights too. And I'm just glad that, we weren't fighting when he passed. You know what I mean? So that's just what I was saying.
Thank God. Right.
Yeah. Well, hey,
sorry
Vicki,
about that.
but no worries. It happens to everybody. Before we go to the last questions, I have to mention the sponsor one more time. Amy Brick with Brick & Company Real Estate. She's a real estate broker who is honest, fair, and most importantly, she'll get your home sold in 8 days with multiple offers. If you're thinking about selling, give her a call at area code 562-335-5269 or check out her website at amybrick.com. With over 20 years of experience, she could help you make the right move in Southern California. Her license number is DRE01358129.
She's a brick. House seller. She's a brick. House seller.
Yes.
Come on, boys.
Yes.
Join me. Come on.
She's a mighty
She's
mighty.
House seller.
I don't know the rest of the song.
Just let it all hang out.
That's all we need.
Brick. House seller.
Yeah.
She's mata.
Yeah. She's taking down the offers.
No. I'm friends with her on Facebook, and she puts up those listings, and they are gone so quick. And no
Isn't
BS.
that amazing? I mean, that's another job, realtor, because you have to be so positive. Like, if I was a realtor right now, I'd say, oh, there's nothing for sale. I quit.
Oh my God. Yeah, same here. I don't, or I'd have to smoke a lot of weed before I went to work to fake that.
Can you imagine
happiness.
that? You just be all stinky for your fancy client. Oh, sorry. I forgot to file those papers, ma'am. The offer was lost somehow.
Vicki, I wanted to ask you about podcasts, because you're starting to do more interviews and stuff. Would you say that's a good game changer for comedians right now to do their own podcasts and interview other artists too?
Yeah, I think we should do all that shit. I was thinking today, what it was like to be a comedian 20 years ago? Because I had to spend all morning on the computer. Can you imagine being a comedian 30 years ago? Okay, there's none of this shit, none of it. And you just show up at a club and the pros and cons, I'm sure. But the bottom line is, I guess my friend who's a psychic, she tells me, if you push away all this technology, and she looks at me in the face she's talking to me, because she is. Right. If you push away all this technology, you're pushing away your success, and you're intentionally doing that. So you need to get involved. So, I mean, that's the thing. I lost my social media guy because he got a real job. So I have been limping through my own social media for the past few months, and it's been such a struggle. But I mean, you can do it. And I actually did hire a new social media person today, but even just having somebody and then giving them everything, it's worth doing because it's like, it's a gift in so many ways because all of a sudden the whole world can see you. It's like when we used to wish for that. Now we have it. So why do we love it? So yeah, I think every time somebody, it's difficult to find enough hours in a day, but to be seen, to be heard, it's worth it, you know?
Well, I'm glad the psychic lady told you to do Reza riffs.
She said it especially. She said especially one that starts with the 2 R's.
And spelled riffs wrong.
She said that. She's really good. Georgia Jean, Circle of Life Evolution.
Victor, you got any last second questions for Vicky?
Yeah, this is my last question. Vicky, so you've been doing comedy for a while, and I wanted to know, how has stand-up comedy changed for women in comedy?
Yeah, good question, Victor. It is such fantastic news to tell you that it is so much better. I mean, there was hardly any women when I started, and so people would say women aren't funny. I'm like, it's volume, dude. There's just not enough of us to prove we're not funny. Every night I come here, there's 10 shitty dudes, 2 good ones. Well, if you only have 2 girls and nobody's good, they think nobody's good. So it's like nobody can say women aren't funny anymore. There's a huge amount of women in the world doing it now, and it's wonderful. There's still some, it's still some, like, you could feel it. You could feel it in some men. They look at you like, you feel it. I see a woman pilot, I think twice. I get it, So it.
Oh my God. No, I usually hear surgeon, not pilot. That one's
no, the reason about the pilots is because that new Boeing 737 that they modified. I heard you have to be like a gorilla and lift that thing up when it goes into the nosedive. So that's why I'm saying that.
My God. I had no idea. No idea.
Well, I made that up. No, I'm only kidding. I heard that. So, and I'm joking about women pilots, with the exception of the 737 thing. But you still can feel this superiority at certain, men that you just smell it on them, and you just smell it when they walk by you in the hall at the Comedy Store. They go, but those are the very few. Those are the very few dinosaurs. I think most guys are really opening up. And we all evolve, but the attitude towards us from other comics has been vastly corrected in the last 5 years, I'd say. And then in the general world, people are just dying to hear women comics.
Yeah,
so it's good.
I've always thought women were funny because my mom's hilarious.
Yeah,
hilarious, and she's never tried to be a comic or presented herself on stage. She's just really witty, and she doesn't even know it.
Women have to be better at communicating because from the days of the caves, we have to talk our way out of shit because we can't fight our way out of shit. And so we also, I think we do have a higher sense of humor. It's like even sociologists have even looked at that and sort of done studies of it. And I believe that dudes will laugh at anything. And I kind of have a dude sense of humor. I'm a big fart joke girl. But I mean, women, you got to give them a little more.
Yeah,
absolutely. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And then Vicky, my last question for you is, are you training yourself to prepare for a Netflix special? Is that in the future that we want to do?
Yeah, I just taped something in Las Vegas, but it turned out really poorly because, when people do things for free, they get what you pay for. So the recording was really terrible, but I'm actually, I'm planning on, I can't even say what it is right now, but yes. Yeah.
All right. Now, where can the folks at home subscribe, rate, and review to your podcast?
Oh, thank you. Please look at Trailer Park Diaries. And it's on All Things Comedy, but it's on all the podcast places. Trailer Park Diaries. Please mention how rude we were to the Ukrainian women today. No, don't mention that. And I think it's a very unusual podcast. It's very unusual, and we had a really great time doing it. So I hope people will like it. It's pretty raw. I mean, I'm like, oh my God, did we talk about fisting today? Yes, we managed to do that.
And where can the folks at home follow you?
Oh, and all the places, like all of the social media, the Twitter, Facebook, Insta, everything is like Vicki Barbolak, pretty much.
Awesome. Well, Vicki, thank you for saying yes, and I'm glad we finally got to do it.
It was my pleasure. You guys, thank you so much. And yeah, that's how I roll, slow and roll. It was a very great podcast. Congratulations. Go and showcase at the store. Keep doing it. Don't give up.
Well, thank you, Vicki. It really meant a lot to us.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Victor. You guys are the best.
Thank you, Vicki. It was awesome talking to you. Thank you.
See you soon. Bye.
See you soon. Absolutely. Bye.
All right, guys. So subscribe, rate, and review to the show. And we hope you enjoyed it. And follow Vicki and her new podcast. Victor, you got anything you want to tell the folks at home before we log out?
Yeah. Check me out at HispanicTitanic.com or Puro Papi Pacheco on all social media.
All right, guys.
Hispanic Titanic. I love
it. It's a real website too. People are like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Yes, yes." It's like, what's that fat Mexican guy's name on stage? The fat Mexican guy. He was as big as
have like a graphic with a little band playing on your shoulder while you go into a bathtub.
Oh my God. I fucking love you. Thank you so much, Vicki. That's so
See you later. Bye.
Have a good one. See you later.
That was the show with that was great. I gotta mention the sponsors before we head out.
Absolutely.
Today's episode of Reza Riffs with Vicki Barbolak is brought to you by Amy Brick with Brick and Real Estate. She's a real estate broker who is honest, fair, and most importantly, she'll get your home sold in 8 days with multiple offers. If you're thinking about selling, give her a call at area code 562-335-5269 or check out her website at amybrick.com. With over 20 years of experience, she could help you make the right move in Southern California. Her license ID is DRE01358129. Victor, thank you for riffing with me today.
Thanks for having me, as always. Always a pleasure, always fun. So thank you.
We'll see you guys next week.